Hi, I'm Kelly Gunter. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Something happened today that caused me to want to make this video and reach out to my followers. I was sexually abused my entire childhood in my home by my older brothers as well as other individuals. Today, someone commented to me, or about me, I guess I should say, to someone else, that they didn't understand why I decided to disclose my abuse at this point in my life when I'd kept it secret for so many years, why I wrote about it in my book, and why I blog about it and speak about it on a regular basis. They said it just makes it awkward for everybody. Seriously. My speaking up about my sexual abuse makes it awkward for other people. Living in the silence of that abuse nearly killed me. I developed numerous addictions, self-destructive behaviors, poor judgment, poor analytical thinking, so many unhealthy coping mechanisms, and literally that behavior and that trauma I couldn't escape no matter how fast I ran, because no matter how fast I ran, I couldn't outrun myself. No matter where I went, I took me with me. And at that point, I was the problem. Trauma doesn't just heal on its own. Time doesn't heal it. It doesn't just go away, even when the abuser does. And for someone to say that I should have remained silent about my abuse to keep everybody else comfortable, those days are over. That's what I can tell you. The Bible says there is a time for everything and a purpose to every season under heaven. And one of those things is a time to speak. I will not be silent about the abuse I endured for the entirety of my childhood because it makes other people uncomfortable. That's the problem in this country. Recently, I was scheduled to appear on a television show, a national television show. They wanted me to talk about my 243-pound weight loss and how I've maintained that loss for 18 years. They wanted me to talk about the numerous addictions that I had suffered from and became sober from now for almost 4 years. But they didn't want me to talk about the sexual abuse, the trauma that left unhealed, that was the fuel that ignited all of those addictions, all those self-destructive behaviors and coping skills that were survival skills in my childhood. They didn't want to talk about that. They said that was a little dark. I said there are 82 million adult survivors of sexual abuse in the United States alone. I think if you tell the story that a lot of people don't want to tell, you're going to reach those 82 million people. And that would be a beautiful thing, because every one of them deserves to heal. And statistics show that 90% of abuse victims have never disclosed the abuse to anybody. But they didn't want to tell the story that way, and that's not the way it went down. I encourage every one of you, speak your truth, tell your story. You don't have to write a book about it. You don't have to disclose it internationally like I have. Tell somebody, even if it's a journal, even if it's a diary. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell someone you're close to, a therapist, a pastor. You don't have to remain silent to keep other people comfortable. You don't have to do that. Victims are incredibly brave and courageous and strong. We may have a lifetime of mistakes we've made. We may have a lifetime of broken relationships and different things that we didn't realize were directly correlated to that abuse. But once we begin to heal, once we begin to let our soul finally breathe and get away from all that trauma, all those things become different. And we have a chance to have a happy and a peaceful future. Don't keep silent for anybody. I can tell you this, to the people who said that to me, my speaking my truth and disclosing my trauma, that makes you uncomfortable? Well, that's just too bad. How do you think it made me from the time I was 7 until I was 14? I was pretty uncomfortable. How dare you tell me, shame on me for telling my truth? You can say a lot of things to me and me not respond. Nobody gets to put shame on me for disclosing the truth of the abuse I suffered. I lived with the shame of sexual abuse, and I allowed it to control me and to blow up into numerous addictions that caused so much poor judgment and so many devastating consequences in my life. And that's the thing about addiction. When you go back in total sobriety and you have to take responsibility for those mistakes, that's not easy. That's a hard day. But we live through it, we get through it, and I will keep speaking my truth to help any person out there that feels trapped in that darkness, a darkness I know so well. You are not alone. You have every right to heal. You deserved better, we all did. But we certainly don't have to remain quiet, not another day. Speak up, tell your story. Your story matters. Your truth matters. You matter. Your pain matters. You are not alone. There are 82 million adult survivors of sexual abuse in this country. I stand by every one of you. Tell your truth. You're worthy. You're courageous and you're brave. And don't let anyone telling you that you speaking up wasn't necessary. There's a time to speak, and that time is today. We deserve to heal. And don't watch television shows that refuse to talk about sexual abuse. Furthering the shame. Like, get over it. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We're strong. We deserve to have our stories told.